it's just this concept of therapy. And I've been really sitting with it for a while. Over the holidays, my family and I, well, some of my family and I, we went to Mexico, and we were just sitting around talking, and the conversation came up about therapy, about people needing therapy, and how a recognition for the fact that we had needed therapy, had some experiences, and as we're talking about it as a family or collective, I said that's a commitment. Like, are you all committing to doing it? And then everybody, yeah, we're committed, we're committed, we're committed. And so my son, he looked over at me and he said, well, Ma, you too, you too, you too. And I got a little triggered. And I honestly, the reason I got triggered is because it's like, I live this. I live this. And he's, well, no, not just for other people. You need to do it for you. You need to do it for you. And I said, and I sat with that. I sat with that. I was initially triggered because I have this thing with my family where I'm really trying to bring them along for the ride, and everybody's like, oh, whatever. No, just not interested, period. Right. And so when he said that, that's what triggered me. I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this work for 7 years. And like, I've been telling you all this for 7 years, and now you want to do it. And now you're like, well, you need to do it. But anyway, I sat with it and I said, all right, I do a lot of work for a lot of people, which is true. I do. But every time that I work with an individual, I'm working on my stuff. Every time. Every time. Every time I'm giving Reiki to someone, that energy comes to me first. Every time that I'm teaching, I'm learning. You all would be amazed at how much I learn from you. Every 2 weeks, I am sitting here talking about healing, talking about spiritual concepts, sitting with my ancestors, meditating, pray. This is what I do. This is part of my lived experience every day. Every time that I prepare to do a reading or a Reiki session or teach a class or whatever, I sit with spirit. I meditate. I ground. I go hiking all the time. That grounds me. I have a regular yoga practice. I go to yoga twice a week, every week. And so what I'm saying is that all of these things are forms of therapy, every single last one of them. But when we talk about therapy, we are rooted and tied to this Western ideology of what therapy is. And from a westernized medical complex standpoint, therapy is you're sitting there, you're talking to somebody, you're telling them, everything that's going on, and you're expecting them to fix you. You're expecting them to fix you or to diagnose you, or to give you some medication. You're expecting something to happen rooted in you sitting with this other person, and this other person figuring out what's going on with you and being able to help you. That's not how it really, really works, because you are your own healer. You just need the tools. You just need the space. It's your accountability. It's your work. It's not the therapist's work. It's your work. And so, again, when we look at Western medicine, Western medical complex, in comparison or in contrast to our ancient and indigenous belief systems, African indigenous beliefs, American indigenous beliefs, Asian indigenous beliefs, when we look at all of these indigenous cultural belief systems, they teach, their worldview is that all disease, all illness is a imbalance. It's reflective of imbalance in your mental, spiritual, emotional, your inner environments and your external environments. And so, with that said, when you're feeling a particular way, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to bring myself back in balance? And again, I said myself back in balance. You know, do I need to go in nature? Is it my environment? Is it the people that are around me? What is it that is creating the imbalance within me? There is some therapies like somatic therapy that appeals to movement and the body. So they're all different types of therapy. But again, the root of it is you. The root of it is you. Nobody can fix you. And so then I started sitting with, okay, well, what if that's the case, what does therapy mean for me? Therapy for me, or what really, not just for me, but what really is therapy? Therapy is ritual. Therapy is ritual. Therapy is intentionality. You know, because we live in such a dense, negative society, therapy, it just doesn't happen, unfortunately. We're not just in our natural states because everything around us is not natural anymore. Therefore, we have to be intentional about what therapy is for us, intentional engaging in therapeutic practices for us, intentional. That means this is a thing that we are going to do when we feel this particular way, or this is a thing that we're going to do every day just to maintain. My yoga practice twice a week, every week, is to maintain. It's nothing in addition. It's not, that's just to maintain. So we have to incorporate rituals, practices, routines, things that not only help us maintain, but things that help us when we feel imbalanced, when we're feeling not quite like ourselves. Things and different things work for different people. So I'm not going to say, okay, well, you should do this, you should do this. Part of your job, part of your work is to find out what is your therapy, what works for you, and do it consistently. I have so many people that know how to do energy healing work, know how to do Reiki, know how to lay hands on their body, but they don't do it. And I say, why? Why don't you? Oh, I forget. I didn't think about it. And it's like, you have the tools, you have the power, but you're not using it. You have the power, you're not using it. Even using my mom as an example. One time, a lot of times she's in a lot of pain, arthritis, all types of stuff. But it's only when the pain gets to be insurmountable that she'll call me and be like, can you give me a Reiki treatment? And I give her a Reiki treatment. I asked, well, Mom, how do you feel? I feel good. I felt light. I felt this. I felt that. Like all of these wonderful things after this experience. But you don't do it. But you don't incorporate it in your regular life. You only go to it when it's like all the way on 20. And this is something that you can be doing on a regular basis because you know how to do it. This is something that you could even come to me once a week. Like, will you be willing to give me a Reiki treatment once a week? Yeah, Mom, no problem. But I can't do other people's work for them. Part of the work is them wanting to do it for themselves. Part of the work is being worthy, is feeling that you're worthy to feel good. And that comes from all of those, that the energy, the internalized blocks, talk, being distracted from our bodies, not being in our bodies, being used to pain. Some of us are just so used to being in pain, we don't even think about it. It becomes part of who we are, and it becomes part of our lived experience, our everyday experience. So we don't even think about interrupting it. You know, we don't even think like, oh, wait, I like feeling good. I like not being in pain. I'm not, it's worth it to me to do therapy. And so therapy, again, it has to be intentional. It's intentional, because our culture, our society is so imbalanced. And we're a part of it. We're a part of it. Like I said, this week I was feeling some negative remnants of, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on? I'm a part of all, no matter how many practices I do, no matter how much spirit work I do, no matter how much grounding I do, I'm still part of the collective. And so I'm still feeling what everybody else is feeling. It may not be to the magnitude that some people feel it, but I still feel it. I still, feel negativity and density from my families, and like I still feel all of that. And so as I'm feeling it, but I'm also radically connected to my body and to my beingness, and I say, something isn't right. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I move this energy? How do I shift it? That's therapy. That's my therapy. And so some therapeutic practices, keeping in mind sound, music. Jen is all in this singing bowls. And then I get a message from Ndidi, like, I need some singing bowls. I'm going to buy some singing bowls. And I'm just like, yes. Dance. Dia is a beautiful dancer. Dance, movement, exercise, mantras, meditation, teaching. Teaching is a form of therapy for me, because you all give me connection. And so if it wasn't for you all, I'd be dealing with still a lot of isolation, but you all give me connection. So teaching is therapeutic for me, because I get out of myself and I share. This is my work in the world. That's therapy. When you're not doing your work in the world, that already presents dissonance within your body. You already feel disconnected, because you're like, I'm just doing this. I'm just going through the motions. I hate my job. I hate coming here every day. I have no connection. Like, I'm just here. So that already creates dissonance within you. And so teaching, I was created to teach, and I'm doing it. And that's therapy for me. Every time that I get to teach, that's therapy. Writing is therapy, because I'm writing. The writing is coming from a higher place, a higher consciousness. It's coming from my ancestors. It's coming from the mothers. It's coming from ancient wisdom. It's coming from all of the books. Like all of these books that I have, you all can't see it, I'm referencing all these books that I have. It's energy and wisdom in these books, the energy that was put into the writing of those books. I embody that as I read them, so all that's connection for me. Reading is connection. Teaching, writing, laughing, healthy eating. I just finished my 10-day detox. It made me I felt like I was floating. It just, when you're just able to clean your body, clean your system. And I'm not saying every single day you gotta, but I'm telling you, food is energy. And so when you are putting good energy in your body, that's therapy. It's a form of reverence. Every day I was coming downstairs making my smoothie, and it was silent. And I'm mesmerized by the greens and the fresh fruit. And like I'm having this, like it is like this spiritual, sacred, therapeutic moment with food. So that's therapy. And I can guarantee you, there are some people that don't do any of the things that I just named and wonder why. They feel negative. They feel trapped in their own bodies. They feel trapped in their own minds. They go to work every day, they come home, that's it. And so therapy, that's therapy. Find your therapy.